Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Mataji, I am found.
So where are we now?
We read till 52 yesterday, verse 52. And then today we are continuing from verse 53 to end of the chapter. That's
Very good. Very good.
Today. But I don't know. Today no one is, other than we two, no one is there in the call, Mataji.
Okay, so should we start with the prayers?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashta Prayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Okay, so as you said, Soumya Mataji, we are reading from text Canto 4, Chapter 1, text 53, and we're going to finish the chapter today.
Yes.
So, I don't know, who would like to begin the reading today?
We both only there in the class Mataji today?
No, there's, let's see, Leela Manjari Mataji's, she's muted, but she's here. Rohini Dasi is on. I believe Ruchi Mataji is on, and Linda Mataji is also on, and yourself and me.
Oh.
So yeah, there's several people on, but maybe nobody wants to read. So all right. So she began the live YouTube. Okay, so I guess I could start reading. So text 53. Translations and purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yayor Janmani Ado Vishvam Abhiyanandat Sunir Vritam Manam Si Kakubovataha Praseduhu Sarito Adrayaha. Translation. On the occasion of the appearance of Nara Narayan, the entire world was full of joy. Everyone's mind became tranquil, and thus in all directions, the air, the rivers, and the mountains became pleasant. Text, there's no purport there, so text 54 and 55. Okay, just a moment, I missing a page here. Okay, yeah, there's only a translation. Divi avadyanta turyani petu kushuma vrishtayaha munayas tuvus tushta jagur gandharva kinaraha nrityanti sma striyo devyu asit parama mangalam deva brahmadayaha sarve upatashtur abhishtave. Translation. In the heavenly planets, the bands began to play, and they showered flowers from the sky. The pacified sages chanted Vedic prayers. The denizens of heaven, known as the Gandharvas and Kinnaras, sang. The beautiful damsels of the heavenly planets danced. And in this way, at the time of the appearance of Nara Narayan, all signs of good fortune were visible. Just at that time, great demigods like Brahma also offered their respectful prayers. I guess I could read one more. Text 56. Deva Uchu Yomayaya Virachitam Nichayat Manidam Kerupa Bedam Iva Tat Praticha Shanaya Etena Dharma Sadhane Vishimurtina Yadya Pradushchakara Purushaya Namaha Parasmai. Translation. The demigods said, "Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the transcendental personality of Godhead, who created as his external energy this cosmic manifestation, which is situated in him as the air and clouds are situated in space, and who has now appeared in the form of Nara Narayan Rishi in the house of Dharma." Purport. The universal form of the Lord is the cosmic manifestation, which is an exhibition of the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In space, there are innumerable varieties of planets and also the air. And in the air, there are variously colored clouds. And sometimes we see airplanes running from one place to another. Thus, the entire cosmic manifestation is full of variety. But actually, that variety is a manifestation of the external energy of the Supreme Lord. And that energy is situated in him. Now the Lord himself, after manifesting his energy, appeared within the creation of his energy, which is simultaneously one with and different from himself. And therefore, the demigods offered their respects to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who manifests himself in such varieties. There are some philosophers called non-dualists who, because of their impersonal conception, think that varieties are false. In this verse, it is specifically stated, Yo Mayaya Virachi. This indicates that the varieties are a manifestation of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, because the energy is non-different from the Godhead, the varieties are also factual. The material varieties may be temporary, but they are not false. They are a reflection of the spiritual varieties. Here the word pratichakshanaya, there are varieties, announces the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared as Nara Narayan Rishi, and who is the origin of all varieties of material nature. Would someone care to continue the readings?
Yes, ma'am. Can read.
Okay, who would like to read, please?
I will read.
57, we're on text 57, Mataji.
Yes, madam. Text 57. So, I am Titi Vyati Karopa Samaya Shristan Sattve Nanaha Suraganan Anumeya Tat swaha drishyad adabra karunena vilokanena yat Shri Niketam amalam kshipataravindam. Translation. Let that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is understood by truly authorized Vedic literature and who has created peace and prosperity to destroy all calamities of the created world, be kind enough to bestow his glance upon the demigods. His merciful glance can supersede the beauty of the spotless lotus flower, which is the home of the goddess of fortune. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the origin of the cosmic manifestation, is covered by the wonderful activities of material nature. Just as outer space or the illumination of the sun and moon is sometimes covered by clouds or dust, it is very difficult to find the origin of the cosmic manifestation. Therefore, material scientists conclude that nature is the ultimate cause of all manifestations. But from Shastra or authentic literature like Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic scriptures, we understand that behind this wonderful cosmic manifestation is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in order to maintain the regular procedures of the cosmic manifestation and to be visible to the eyes of persons who are in the mode of goodness, the Lord appears. He is the cause of the creation and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. The demigods therefore prayed for his merciful glance upon them in order to be blessed.
You can continue, Mataji, with another verse, another couple of verses if you would like. Yeah.
Text 58. Evam sura ganaistata bhagavanta abhisutau labdhavalokayayatu architau gandhamadanam. Maitreya said, O Vidura, thus the demigods worshipped with prayers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing as the sage Naranarayana. The Lord glanced upon them with mercy and then departed for Gandhamadana hill. Text 59. Tav imau vai bhagavato harer amshav ihagato bharavyaya cha bhuvaha krishnau yadu kurudvaha. Translation. That Naranarayana Rishi, who is a partial expansion of Krishna, has now appeared in the dynasties of Yadu and Kuru in the forms of Krishna and Arjuna respectively, to mitigate the burden of the world. Purport. Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Nara is part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. Thus, the energy and the energetic together are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Maitreya informed Vidura that Nara, the portion of Narayana, had appeared in the family of the Kurus, that Narayana, the plenary expansion of Krishna, had come as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with the purpose of delivering suffering humanity from the pangs of the material burdens. In other words, Narayana Rishi was now present in the world in the forms of Krishna and Arjuna.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, we still have a little bit more reading to go. Would someone please volunteer to continue reading? Are you there? Let's see, we have, is Linda or Ruchi Mataji available to read?
I can read.
Oh, Manasiganga Mataji, very good.
Yeah, I have pain in my breast, so I won't be able to read really. I'm not feeling well.
Okay, very good, Ruchi.
Okay, text 60. Svaha bhimaninas chagnir atma janstrin aji janat pavakam pavamanam cha suchim cha hutapojanam. Translation. The predominating deity of fire begot in his wife Svaha 3 children named Pavaka, Pavamana, and Suchi, who exist by eating the oblations offered to the fire of sacrifice. Purport. After describing the descendants of the 13 wives of Dharma, who were all daughters of Daksha, Maitreya now describes the 14th daughter of Daksha, Svaha, and her 3 sons. Oblations offered in the sacrificial fire are meant for the demigods, and on behalf of the demigods, the 3 sons of Agni and Svaha, namely Pavaka, Pavamana, and Suchi, accept the oblations. 61. Debognaya Samabhavan Jat Varismacha Panchacha Da Ivai Gonna Ponchasat Sakim Pitra Pitam Mahai. Translation. From these 3 sons, another 45 descendants were generated, who are also fire gods. The total number of fire gods is therefore 49, including the fathers and the grandfather. Purport. The grandfather is Agni, and the sons are Pavaka, Pavamana, and Suchi. Counting these 45 plus 45 grandsons, there are altogether 49 different fire gods. 62. Vaitanike Karmaniyan Nama Bir Brahma Vad Ibihi Agneya Istayo Yagne Niruptyante Agnayastute. Translation. These 49 fire gods are the beneficiaries of the oblations offered in the Vedic sacrificial fire by impersonalist Brahmanas. Purport. Impersonalists who perform Vedic fruitive sacrifices are attracted to the various fire gods and offer oblations in their name. The 49 fire gods are described herewith. Do you want me to continue?
Only if you feel, if you so feel inclined. I don't want you to feel you have to, but if you like to, go right ahead.
Okay, 63. Agnis Vata Parhis Adaha Samya Pitara Ajyapaha Sagnayo Agnayastesam Patni Daksha Yani Svadha. Translation. The Agnisvatas, the Barhisadas, the Samyas, and the Ajapas are the Pitas. They are either Sagnika or Niragnika. The wife of all these Pitas is Svadha, who is the daughter of King Daksha. Why don't I let someone else continue?
Let's see if we have someone else. Let's see, Ruchi Mataji is not feeling well. Linda Mataji, are you on the call? Somebody's there. Okay, I'm gathering that Leela Mandri Mataji could not join, but she is recording this this class. So I guess I will have to continue. Okay. Text 64. Tebyo dadara kanye dve vayunam darinim svada ubete brahma vadinyao gnana vigyanan haraje. Translation. Svada, who was offered to the Pitas, begot two daughters named Vayuna and Darini, both of whom were impersonalists and were expert in transcendental and Vedic knowledge. 65. Vavasya patni tu sati, Vavam devam anuvrata, Atmana sadrisham putram, Nalebe guna shilataha. Translation. The 16th daughter, whose name was Sati, was the wife of Lord Shiva. She could not produce a child, although she always faithfully engaged in the service of her husband. Text 66. Pitari apratirupesve bhavayanagase rusha apaud ivat manat manam ajahad yoga samyuta. Translation. The reason is that Sati's father, Daksha, used to rebuke Lord Shiva in spite of Shiva's faultlessness. Consequently, before attaining a mature age, Sati gave up her body by dint of yogic mystic power. Purport. Lord Shiva, being the head of all mystic yogis, never even constructed a home for his residence. Sati was the daughter of a great king, Daksha, and because his youngest daughter, Sati, selected as her husband, Lord Shiva, King Daksha was not very much satisfied with her. Therefore, whenever she met her father, he unnecessarily criticized her husband, although Lord Shiva was faultless. Because of this, before attaining a mature age, Sati gave up the body given by her father Daksha, and therefore she could not produce a child. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the fourth canto, first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Genealogical Table of the Daughters of Manu, or Manu. Okay. So let's see. So I think I have to start because I started the reading today. There's, we're just learning that Lord, Narayan, okay, or the appearance of Narayan came about, and that the entire world was full of joy, and everybody became tranquil. And everything, the air, rivers, and the mountains became pleasant. So this was a very joyous occasion. In the heavenly planets, they were playing music, bands were playing, they were showering flowers from the sky. I would love to see that in my day. I hope when I go, if someday I get to the spiritual sky, I would love to shower flowers from that sky. Oh my God, is that beautiful? Okay, and so the sages were chanting Vedic prayers. Let's see, the denizens of heaven, known as the Gandharvas and Kinnaras, sang. The beautiful damsels of the heavenly planets danced. And so at the time of the appearance of Nara Narayan, all good signs of fortune were visible. And also Lord Brahma and other great demigods offered their respectful prayers. And so the demigods were offering their respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead. And what did he create? His external energy created the cosmic manifestation, and it's situated in him as the air and clouds are situated in space. So, and now he appeared in the form of Nara Narayan Rishi in the house of Dharma. Okay, the Prabhupada tells us that the universal form of the Lord is the cosmic manifestation, and it's the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then this is all referring to variety, that in space out there are innumerable types of varieties of planets, air, clouds, and sometimes we see airplanes. And the entire cosmic manifestation is full of variety. But actually, that variety is a manifestation of the external energy of the Supreme Lord. And so just we remember then always that the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his creation of the cosmic manifestation is full of variety. Variety of living entities, variety of planets, universes, clouds, etc. And then we were again this concept of Achintya Bheda Bheda. He appears within the creation of his energy. So then he created this cosmic manifestation, then he appeared into it. And we know that it's simultaneously one with and different from himself. And so some philosophers who are impersonalist, they think that this variety is false. And in this verse, it is specifically stated. So the varieties, we know that the varieties are a manifestation of the energy of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we also know that the energy is non-different from himself. And so since we know that they're one and the same, we know that the variety is factual. And even though the material variety is temporary, it doesn't mean it's false. In other words, you know, all of this creation that we see, including ourselves, it's temporary, but it doesn't mean that it's false. It is for real. What is it? What are they? It's a reflection of the spiritual variety. So whatever we see here, we can find this is a perverted reflection of what we will find in the material, in the spiritual world. So again, there's this glory, they're announcing the glory of the Nara Narayan Rishi, and this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is the origin of all varieties of material nature. Okay. Soumya, I believe you continued with text 57.
Oh. Mhm. Uh, for me, it is difficult matter to explain like you. Mm.
I'm sorry, Soumya Mataji, I couldn't hear what you cannot explain.
Yes, Mataji, I did not prepare, so I can't explain. So you can go ahead if you are able to explain.
Okay. So the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead supersedes the beauty of the spotless lotus flower, which is the home of the goddess of fortune. So he glanced upon the demigods. Well, it doesn't even say that. It says it's asking for him to bestow his glance upon the demigods. So it says here that Prabhupada says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered by the wonderful activities of material nature. And he uses this analogy, just like in outer space, the illumination of the sun and moon is sometimes covered by clouds or dust. So it's difficult to find the origin of the cosmic manifestation. And we know that a lot of scientists out there have been saying that nature is the ultimate cause of all manifestations. They don't put God into it whatsoever. They just say, well, you know, there was this big bang explosion and out came, you know, all these planets and galaxies and universes. Yeah, no. So we learn from the Shastra, however, that behind the cosmic manifestation is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord appears to maintain the regular procedures of the cosmic manifestation and to be visible to the eyes of persons who are in the mode of goodness. So he's the cause of creation and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. And the demigods prayed for his glance upon them in order to be blessed. I think Leela Manjari Mataji was mentioning this yesterday, that, you know, you can't talk about the building being constructed and then later say that it was, you know, oh yeah, the I don't know, the contractor came after. It's you first, the building, before the building is constructed, you need the person who built it. So that is kind of just logically what makes sense. And so you see here that before the cosmic manifestation occurred, there had to be someone who created it. And so the Supreme Personality of Godhead had to come before the cosmic manifestation and not after. So there, you know, he's the cause of all causes. He's the cause of the creation and the dissolution. So it does not fit what these, what the scientists, material scientists say about the creation. And that I believe for sure. And then Again, in these texts, the demigods were worshiping with prayers the Supreme Personality of Godhead, of course, appearing as Nara Narayan, and he glanced upon them with mercy, and then he departed for Gandhamadan Hill. And let's see. So who is this Nara Narayan? He's a partial expansion of Krishna, and he appeared in the dynasties of Yadu and Kuru in the forms of Krishna and Arjuna, respectively, to mitigate the burden of the world. So this is when we find out when Krishna and Arjuna in the Battle of Kurukshetra occurred, or at least the beginnings here. So we know that in the name Nara Narayan, Narayan's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nara is part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. So the energy and the energetic together are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the portion of Narayan had appeared in the family of the Kurus, and that Narayan, the plenary expansion of Krishna, had come as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the purpose was to deliver suffering humanity from the pangs of material burdens. So now we know at this point that Nara Narayan, or Narayan Rishi, was now present in the world in the forms of Krishna and Arjuna. Okay, I think Manas Ganga had spoken then.
Yeah, so this is a discussion between Maitreya and Vidura. And so she's explaining about Narayan, and then Narayan leaves. So she continues on talking about the deity of fire. And the predominating deity of fire begot and his wife 3 children, and the names of those 3 children are Pavaka, Pavamana, and Suchi. We hear that the gods of fire, they exist by eating the oblations offered to the fire sacrifice. That's how they exist, through that eating the offerings. So in the purport it says that that after describing the descendants of the 13 wives of Dharma, Maitreya then describes the 14 daughters of Daksha, his wife was named Svaha, and their 3 sons. Oblations offered to the sacrificial fire are meant for the demigods. And the demigod, there's Agni and his wife Svaha, and their 3 sons. They accept the oblations. And then from the 3 sons, 45 children, descendants, who are also fire gods, come forth, and therefore there's 49 of the fire gods. And the lineage is that there's Agni, who's the grandfather, the 3 sons, Pavaka, Pavamana, and Suchi, and then 45 grandsons. So altogether there's 49 different fire gods. And these 49 are beneficiaries of the oblations, of the offerings offered in the Vedic sacrificial fire. And who is performing these sacrificial fires or these offerings? They're the impersonalist brahmanas. And I think someone else took over here. Do you want me to continue?
Yeah, I think so, because I think I did not do 63.
Okay, so I did 60. Okay, 63. So who are the Pitas? That's the Agnivatas, the Barhisadas, the Samyas, and the Agyapas. They're the Pitas, and they're either Sagnika or Niragnika. And the wife of all these Pitas is Svadha, who is the daughter of King Daksha. So again, we're just talking about the lineage, and this is the lineage of the Pitas.
And who do you know what Sagnika means or Niragnika? Does anybody know?
No.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Okay, and I believe I finished it off. In Spada, now she is the wife of the Pitas, right? She was offered to the Pitas. She begot two daughters, Vayuna and Darini, and they were both impersonalists and were expert in transcendental and Vedic knowledge. And the 16th daughter was named Sati. She was the wife of Lord Shiva. And Sati couldn't produce a child, even though she always faithfully engaged in the service of her husband. So she just could not produce a child. And what is the reason is that Sati's father, Daksha, was constantly criticizing Lord Shiva in spite of Shiva's faultlessness. So before attaining a mature age, Sati gave up her body by dint of yogic mystic power. And that's interesting. I didn't know that Lord Shiva, being the head of all mystic yogis, he never constructed a home for his residents. Now, Sati was the daughter of Daksha, who was a great king. And because his youngest daughter, Sati, selected Lord Shiva, Daksha was not satisfied. King Daksha was not satisfied with her. I'm not actually sure why. I guess probably because being a mystic yogi, he never constructed a home to live in. So maybe she didn't have an actual home. I don't know. But it seems that way from what I'm reading. So every time Sati met her father, he continued to criticize Lord Shiva, even though Lord Shiva was not doing anything wrong. He was faultless. And so before becoming an older woman, Sati gave up her body. Okay. And that's another reason she couldn't produce a child. She gave up her body before she became a ripe old lady. So certainly she could not produce a child at that point. So that's the end. I thought this was kind of tedious. It was just a lot of genealogy. Am I not correct?
Yeah, it was a lot of genealogy.
Yeah,
it says here that that the father, Daksha, was a king. And so here he is, a king, and his daughter, who is a princess, she takes the life of a renunciant, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva doesn't have a home. He meditates years upon years. And I'm sure he just was not thinking that was the type of life that he wanted for his daughter. he probably didn't think that that was a fitting life. And then back to the question that you said about Sagnika or Niragnika. Well, it has the root Agni, which is fire. So if you look at Sa Agna Yaha, those whose means is by fire. So I think they're either Sagnika or Niragnika. I think Nir probably is the opposite, meaning, so if Sagnika means that they're either coming from Agni, this is what I'm thinking, Agni, and Niragnika is those who are not coming from Agni. Just by looking at the synonyms up here, and the topic that we're talking about, which is who's coming from who. So.
These are all like from 48 on, it is explaining the family of descendants of Daksha. So Brahma's son Daksha, he got married, Swayambhav Manu. Manu has 3 daughters. Did you remember in the back of starting of the verses, it is written 3 daughters he has, Swayambhav Manu, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. And then from Prasuti, Prasuti, the 3rd daughter, is given to Daksha, and then this all lineage, all these verses from 49 to 66 is explained. His 16 daughters marrying, the first 13 daughters is given to Dharma, and then we read Naranarayana came from Dharma family, and then after that again it is explained 14th daughter Agni, given to the Agni and Agni's lineage, and then 15th daughter is Pitas, is given to Swada, is given to Pitas and then his family, and then 16th daughter Sati is given to Shiva. So this is all Daksha family.
Thank you for that. Wow, that's good. Yeah, because that is impressive. Because I was just hearing, bits and bits of information. I was not putting it together in the whole scheme of things. Thank you for that.
So is there anything anybody would like to say further about this particular chapter? Because, we're going to start chapter 2 on Monday. And I think then we will probably get a little bit more into the philosophy and the theology here, rather than just all of this genealogy. Okay, well, I guess then that's all I have to say. If no one has anything further to add, I think maybe we can end here. Is that okay with everyone?
I just wanted to say that the next chapter is called Daksha Curses Lord Shiva. So Daksha is the father, back to Somya. Daksha is the father of whom?
The daughter Sati.
Sachi, and Sachi is the one that let's just go back one, that married Lord Shiva. Is that it?
Yes.
So in other words, the father of Suchi is now cursing Lord Shiva, who married the daughter Sachi. Okay.
Not Sati Mataji, not Suchi. The 16th daughter is given the 65th verse we read just.
Yeah, it's the one that Sati is
Yes.
the one that, yeah, I'm sorry. It's too many names that I don't recognize really. So it's I'm just trying to connect this with the next chapter. So Dakshai had the daughter Sati, and Sati marries Lord Shiva. What? Yeah. And Lord Shiva was not in the mind of Daksha, was not a good husband for his daughter, and now the father is cursing Lord Shiva as probably a result of that. Okay.
Yeah, we are going to hear why, what is the reason, and then how it happened. Everything we are going to hear clearly in these verses, coming verses, Mataji.
Thank you.
Okay, sounds good to me. Gosh, isn't that interesting? The father curses the son-in-law. Oh, Mamma mia. Don't we have that in real life today?
Yeah. Very well.
Horrible. Okay, Matatis, thank you very much for class today. I appreciate it very much because I couldn't really talk yesterday. I was driving, and so I didn't say anything.